Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Check-In. I am Sara Orlesky. He is Jaime Thomas. We hope that your Sunday morning is off to a great start. We have been almost in tears laughing already this morning, so I don't know if that bodes well for the energy for this upcoming show or if it means that we're about to go off the rails as well. But we always appreciate when you join us as we get you set for another Winnipeg Jets game today. It is an afternoon game, hence the 10:30 a.m. start. It's a 2 p.m. start here at Canada Life Centre as the Jets kick off a 4-game homestand. First up, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Jets returning home 10-0-1.
Yeah, I love that. Before we get to it, this is the best response to start a show right here. It's from Matt. So many great Winnipeg duos: Hustler Remo, Waiters 27, Derek Taylor, Jeff and DB, but arguably the best of all, Sara and Jaime. Go Jets, go. Anyways,
Jaime forgot his glasses. Somehow he can see that we've already gotten into a discussion.
It was about me, so it's just yeah, of course I can see it. This is going to be the 3 storylines or 3 things afterwards might not be very good because I don't have my glasses on.
So he gets horrible headaches. Yeah, can't watch a game without them. Nope. We will see. Hopefully the 10-1 Jets will become 11-1 this afternoon. In a couple of minutes, we are going to have Dave Randorf, voice of the Tampa Bay Lightning, joining us to help us set up the Lightning. Of course, many Canadian sports fans remember him for all of his work for years on TSN as well as Sportsnet. So very excited to have Randorf join us momentarily. We want to know, though, where are you? Already people in the chat. Where are you watching from today? Good morning to all of you. And also, let's get into what the question of the day is going to be.
Absolutely. And it's a great question of the day. We got to mix things up a little bit. Good point, Gordon. Helly does love afternoon games.
As do I, Gordon.
So we all do.
Do I.
And which brings us to the question of the day, which is what is your go-to snack for afternoon games? So feel free to weigh in on that one as we go through the show here. Your choice for snack for an afternoon game, which would be what for you?
Probably nachos.
I've never seen you eat chips.
I love nachos. Okay. A good nacho plate.
All right.
Fantastic. Anything.
What kind of cheese, though?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay. Melted. Just any type of melted cheese.
Okay, fair.
I love cheese.
Fair.
What about you?
Same as you. I like nachos with cheese. So it's but I also that's the choice. Okay. But spicy chips. Also a big fan of during on afternoons. Oh, look at these nachos for Eric.
See, Eric, got you wings. Crackers and cheese, Phyllis. Here you cheese, key component to all of them. But the Jets home for their next 4 games.
Here's a great answer. Whatever I have for lunch. See, that's nice and simple. Nice and simple. Appreciate the honesty on that one. Oh, even better on poopy pants. Beer.
Okay. All right.
I just wanted to say poopy pants, but that's just me. Beer and Skittles. Wow. It's a great combination.
It is an interesting combination. Okay, let's keep it on the rails. Jets home for their next 4, but thoughts on the road trip as they come back after identical 6-2 scores?
Well, I think what people wanted to see from the Jets after the game against the Toronto Maple Leafs on home ice, the 6-4 loss, they had a tough time 5-on-5, but they rectified that quickly in that first period in Detroit. It was the Scheifele line, the Kyle Connor show, and then certainly in Columbus, who I know a lot of people weren't kind of familiar with how well Columbus was playing. They were playing very well. They were pretty, putting the puck in the net with a lot of frequency through the first 9 games before they played the Jets, and Winnipeg gave them nothing. And I know it was 6-2 and it was 1-1 at one point, but I don't think Winnipeg gave up a whole lot. There's a lot of dominance to start off each period, first, second, and third in Columbus. And I think that speaks to just getting back to the defensive game. So Columbus really didn't have a sniff that entire game outside of when it was 1-1, and then outside the Jets took over from there.
Yeah, they absolutely did. I would just want some of these comments continue to sidetrack. Hello from Norway.
Yeah.
Great to see you as well. I love the Debbie Dot. Good morning. Watching from Regina. Snack, you must be pretty happy if you're a Riders fan as well. When them setting up the West Final for next week. And snack would be pretzels and dip. So what are your feelings on onion dip? If you were of a certain age, and I don't know if it's still is popular, sour cream with the onion dip.
Really? Sour cream and onion chips I hate, and I do not like onion dip.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, to me, it embodies I don't know, the 80s and 90s, but I love a good. See, you didn't know about nachos, didn't know. I love sour cream and onion dip.
There is no good sour cream and onion chips. I'm sorry.
Dip.
Okay, the dip. Okay, sorry. Fair. But not doing it. No, sorry.
All right, fine.
No disrespect.
Yeah, sounds like there is some. Okay, we will have Dave Randorf join us shortly. One of the things with the Jets, it's impressive. So 10 wins in 11 games. Do you know that they are just the 12th team in NHL history when you put that into perspective with the start that they have had, to have 10 wins in their first 11 games. I think that you wondered, as you mentioned, after the loss against Toronto, what the rebound would be like, and to be able to see them continue to capitalize is really something impressive. And I love to see more people talking about the Winnipeg Jets, Kyle Connor, Nikolai Ehlers, the job that the blue line is doing, and so on and so forth. Because I think that sometimes when you see the results that they have, we all know that sometimes that this market can fly under the radar a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And then on top of that, there was, what do we got? Okay, we got.
I'm not sure.
Okay, sorry, you're panicking there. There's nothing going on. Everything's okay. Everything's okay. Do you want to go to the eclipse right now? Is that what you're asking me to do?
No, that's fine.
Okay, so there was a lot of concern about Neil Pionk and Dylan Sandberg had a tough night against Toronto. They were outstanding in the 2 games against Detroit and Columbus. So it wasn't just one person or a couple guys here and there that bounced back. It was the entire team from that Toronto loss. So that was really good to see. So it's been good. Should we talk? You want to go to the clips now on that one? Is that you want to?
Well, I was just keeping an eye to make sure.
Oh, yeah, there he is. Never mind. Bottom part of the corner. Waiting patiently. So sorry. I got a clip on that one. Dave Randorf joining us now. And Dave, sorry for ignoring you. It won't happen.
That's fine. I'm used to that. It's okay.
Hey, I had your back, Dave. I kept trying to point and say down. I'm pretty sure that down at the bottom, that's where Dave is. And we need to make sure that Dave gets out of here quickly because he cannot miss the bus. Because despite the number of years, Dave, that you spent sitting outside, freezing cold in conference finals on the desk, hosting the CFL on TSN.
No heaters, no coats, no tubes.
He's a little bit concerned about the walk to the rink today, so we do not want him to miss the bus.
Yes, that is true. And I will say that my partner and I, the former Jets color commentator Brian Engblom, we are going to take the Skyway, so we're fine. So let's just talk about the hockey game. We've since replanned since you and I last spoke. But you know what? I will say, Sarah, that it's nice to talk to you both, Jamie and Sarah. And Sarah and I worked a lot right around this time of year in years past. And I wish our trip in, the Lightning's trip in, was 1 week later, because I would have loved to have gone to the West Final in person next week. But I'll be watching. I still watch a whole bunch of CFL down in Tampa where I live.
Dave, pretty wild occurrence in St. Paul on Friday. 2 pucks on the ice. How did you deal with that? And have you ever been at a game where that's happened before?
No. As a play-by-play man, you hate to be caught off guard with what's going on. No, seriously, it's like this feeling of panic, and you feel like you got no clothes on and the whistle's gone and you can't explain what has happened and what is going on. And you're scanning for too many men. You're scanning for an arm in the air. You're scanning for anything. And there was nothing, just a whole bunch of confusion. And then once I realized that everybody else was confused on the ice, I think we just threw to break saying, well, we don't know what's going on. We're going to take a television timeout and come back. And actually, my producer had gotten word from the truck that we think there were 2 pucks on the ice. And so I said that, and then we came back, and sure enough, what had happened, for those who didn't see it, it was funny. There was a 2-on-1 rush by Minnesota coming down the ice. They took a shot. I think it was Marco Rossi took a shot. Vasilevsky stopped it, and then he swung around the net. And I saw the shot go wide and swing and fire around the boards and go. So my eyes were already gone this way. Meantime, Rossi went behind the net and had a wraparound attempt with what was a second puck that was literally hiding behind the net. He scooped it up, and we think this must have been a puck that was in warm-up that lodged itself up, in the netting, and fell perfectly rested up against the back of the net, right against the middle post. It's like somebody placed it there, and nobody saw it until that moment. And so they figured it all out. And we had 2 too many men calls and 1 too many pucks call in that game.
Perfect.
Check that one off the bingo card.
That's a first.
Yes, absolutely. Dave, it's going to be odd to see a Lightning team here and not see Steven Stamkos obviously be a part of that group, but still so much of the core the same. And one thing that never seems to change, it doesn't matter the year, is the job and the start that Nikita Kucherov is having. For what is it that has helped lead to kind of this early success for him again? Or is it just more of the same?
It's more of the same. And before I get to Kucherov, This was always a special place for Stamkos to come back to because, of course, this is where he got 60 goals. He got his 60th goal in this building, and he always
We don't like
remembered
to
it.
remember that, Dave.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
listen,
I'm just joking.
It's fine. The Jets are 10-1. It's fine now. Everything's okay. But I'm just saying, from a hockey history standpoint, and a fan standpoint, it's that doesn't happen very often. 60
For
goals,
sure.
and Steven is a great person and a real fan of the game and a student of the game. And he always used to remark that, oh, yeah, I remember being in here. And he's always asked about it. But he is now with the Nashville Predators, and that's another story in and of itself. But back to Kucherov, it's just more of the same. I see this guy day in, day out working on his game. He was back on the ice and regularly is back on the ice on August 1st. And remember, the Lightning had a couple of shorter off seasons. This one, not so short. They were eliminated in the first round for the second straight year. But he's right back to work. And here's the other thing, too, is that a lot of guys, a lot of teammates, he kind of runs these workouts. It's kind of his session. And teammates will text him and say, hey, Cooch, I'm going to come out and work out with you. And he'll say, fine. But if you miss one workout, you're out. And he's not kidding. Like those are the rules. It's okay, fine, but you're either in or you're not in at all. Like this isn't like, don't say I'm playing golf today, or I just don't feel like it today. If you miss one workout, you're out. And that's because this is how his mind works. He is constantly working on his game. He works for hours just taking pucks off the board on his backhand, on his forehand. The one-timers from that spot on the power play that we've become so accustomed to seeing at. This is just doing the handwork, the stick work, everything, all the miniature and minute details of his craft that we see and we marvel at. Like he had another amazing assist Wednesday night in Denver, where he did a blind backhand pass. He went behind the net, threw it back blindly to Jake Gensel at an empty net, and that's not luck. This guy is constantly working on it. He's got work ethic. He just loves the game, and that's why he is always near the top of the league in scoring. A runner-up for the Hart Trophy last year. For those who've forgotten, 144 points, a 40-goal, 100-assist guy for just the fifth time in NHL history. Only 5 guys have done it. 2 did it last year, he and McDavid. But, you've got Lemieux, Orr, and Gretzky, the other 2, or other 3, sorry.
Dave, without Steven Stamkos, there's obviously something missing, right? So what are the Lightning doing? What is this team about? And something we should look forward to seeing this afternoon against Winnipeg?
Well, I mean, that was obviously a huge piece. He'd been a Lightning captain for 11 years. He'd been here in Tampa Bay since he was 18 years old, 16 seasons all told. He holds pretty much every record in the book. But even, I don't want to say more importantly, but as importantly, he was a huge presence in the community. So on and off the ice, I'm sure you two have dealt with Steven in the past. He's such a class person. And that's the way he treated everybody in the organization and everybody in the community. I truly believe he's going to make Tampa Bay, if not his permanent home, it'll be where he spends the majority of his time when he's finished playing. And his number will go straight to the Raptors as soon as he's done playing. There'll probably be a statue of him along with Phil Esposito and Dave Andrechuk outside the building, and deservedly so. You don't replace that presence, that leadership. Everybody talks about the standard that the Tampa Bay Lightning have had for over 10 years now. Well, now that I'm with the team and in my 5th season with them, I saw it. It started with him and Hedman every day from the top down. Those 2 guys set that tone and set that standard for that whole room, and you just don't replace that. I will say this. One point I'd like to make is you'd be hard-pressed to find another team in the NHL that could transition as seamlessly from one captain to the next from this level and maintain it from Stamkos to Hedman as what they've done. That's really a credit to Victor and a credit to the organization themselves, because think about it. Name any other team that could go from a Steven Stamkos type captain and really not miss a beat with Victor Hedman. But on the ice, clearly the biggest storyline for me coming into the season was how this power play was going to adjust without Stamkos there. One of the top power play goal scorers in the history of the game. From that same spot that everybody knows the shot's coming, and yet it still finds its way into the back of the net. You don't replace that. You don't replace that shot. The Lightning have been experimenting. They've had Hagel over there. They've had Kucherov at times over there. You'll probably see both kind of swirling around, a little more movement in their power play because of that. And as a result, the power play is where are we right now? It's not lightning like, that's for sure. It's and that's to be expected. They're right now, they're 18th, they're 18%. They're mediocre. They're okay on the road. They're close to 30% on the road. They're over at home in 5 home games. They have not
Holy
scored
cow.
yeah, they have not scored a power play goal at home yet in 5 games. And that's all part of the adjustment. But I firmly believe that Jeff Halpern and the coaching staff, Halpern's the assistant that's in charge of the power play, we'll figure it out. There's too much talent out there. Kucherov, Hedman, Point, still Gensel now, Hagel, and rotating cast of characters in that 5th spot. There's too much talent out there for this to struggle very long. But that's really the biggest hole that Stamkos has left.
It's certainly something that we'll be watching today. It shouldn't come as any surprise to you with the start that the Jets have had, that we've been talking a lot about special teams in this market as well. So we will see maybe a battle of the power plays today, battle of special teams, and see who comes out on top. Now, I know that you are walking over, which is great, Abe, but still we want to make sure that we give you enough time to meet up with our good friend Brian Enblom as well. So thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us this morning and getting us caught up on what to keep an eye out for with this Lightning team.
All right, Sarah. You got it, Sarah. Anytime. And Jamie, you as well. Great to see you both, and we'll see you both at the rink.
Thanks,
Look forward to it.
Safe walk, man.
Such a good guy.
Okay, so you worked with him many a weekend during the CFL season,
for
right?
sure.
So, yeah, I got to work with him when he was at Sportsnet. It's just one of the best.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
what a great place to end up, though.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
TSN Sportsnet, Tampa. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks like he's got a little bit of a tan going on right now.
A permatan.
A permatan.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah.
I've been talking about Kucherov with them. He said runner-up the Hart Trophy, and you think about the success that Kucherov has had. He's at 144 points, but you look at the start that he has had this season: 9 goals, 18 points in 11 games. Who else has those numbers?
Oh, Kyle Connor.
So
there was like a point there, and the Jets were comfortably ahead, and now you become more concerned. Is the streak going to end for Kyle Connor to start the year?
Is it ever going to end?
I don't know. I don't want. Let's not jinx it, but the move he made to set up Gabe Velarde in the slot was unreal. So it's just now up to 11 games. He's still, of course, as we talked about, second star of the month. Just a tremendous beginning to the season for Kyle Connor. So him and Nikita Kucherov front and center in terms of players to watch here this afternoon.
For sure. Almost equal in shots as well, 44 versus 43. Game-winning goals, 3 for Kyle Connor, 2 for Kucherov, both +6. The difference is kind of the even strength versus power play goals. But I love the comment about and pointing out about his assist, that primary assist on Velarde's, because it's not just goals that we're seeing from Kyle Connor. It's the overall game that has, I think, stood out really through these first 11 games.
And then, of course, we've heard time and time again about the back checking, the tracking.
Yes.
Of course, using his speed to help out in the back check is just everything Kyle Connor has done this year to start the year has been fantastic.
Yes. No morning skates today because this is a 2 p.m. start. So going off of practices yesterday, there were no changes to the line rushes that we saw during Jets practice out at Hockey for All yesterday. We will wait and see whether or not there are any changes during warm-up and if we see any new faces back in there. But as a couple of people I think have mentioned in there, and you and I have certainly talked about numerous times, Connor Hellebuck, we do expect to be in net with Eric Comrie having played the last game, but also we know he loves the afternoon games.
So we hear from, so it was practice yesterday at Hockey for All Center. Let's hear what the primary focuses is heading into this game against the Tampa Bay Lightning.
We got to come home. You can't be different than what you were on the road. I've said before, there isn't, a different way of playing. We have a Winnipeg Jets style of play that we got to continue to play, and that's us taking it to the opposition right from the drop of that puck, and I need to do that against Tampa.
Yeah, we got some good teams coming up here. A couple of Central Division battles that that some of those other teams have been doing pretty well, and we're excited for the challenge. It's a long season, but this is kind of where it starts.
I just think their hockey IQ, the way they read the game, they're all smart guys, all can skate, and Pointer and Kuch have that chemistry up front. The back and forth tic-tac-toe plays, and one thing you had to tell by is I think it's their hockey IQ that stands out.
Turn the microphone on. So I'm going to go back to that was Vladislav Nemestikov talking about his former teammates. Of course, he is a former Tampa Bay Lightning, and that's what basically they're expecting. And then Scott O'Neill saying something he said quite often. They don't want to play differently on the road. They don't want to play differently than they do at home. They don't want to play different because they're playing a certain opponent. It's got to be the same style, and we saw that same style repeatedly in those 2 games in the road trip in Detroit and Columbus.
I'm always interested to see how a team performs in that first game back after a road trip. So it was only a 2-game road trip, but they only had that 1 game at home against Toronto. So it kind of felt as if it was just this extended road trip that was temporarily interrupted.
Yes.
And so I'm always intrigued. I used to talk, Paul Maurice used to say it often, and Rick Bowness too, that first game back, when you're looking at trying to get back into that rhythm early on, for whatever reason, the first game at home after a long road trip, sometimes you just need a little bit of time to be able to get into it. Let's talk hockey IQ.
Yeah, less for sure. And then you see, somebody like Nikita Kucherov, who has an incredible hockey IQ, and you're thinking about the players on the Jets roster. Kyle Connor comes to the forefront. Cole Perfetti's hockey IQ
For sure.
repeatedly gets brought up, and that was, what a strength was when Cole was drafted in the first round. What is your strength? It's your hockey IQ, and that's somebody I immediately think of when that statement comes up.
Yes, absolutely. Yesterday, in addition to speaking to the media, our crack content crew with the Winnipeg Jets went and picked up on a tweet that was about questions that this person would love to ask NHLers.
That we never get to ask.
Yes, it's true, but we should, given what the responses were. Eric Comry answered some of these questions, and we're going to play it for you, because if you've probably heard us say it, and undoubtedly you have heard other media speak to it as well, that Eric Comry, is pretty much a national treasure. He's one of the nicest people that are out there, and his answers are fantastic. Take a listen.
NHL players stupid questions.
Okay.
When your teammates skate away when they get called for a penalty, do you think they just hope the refs forget who did it?
I would say, that's a good question. I don't know. I would say I've been called for a penalty, and I hope someone's forgot it was me, but I don't think they would forget it because I'm a goalie. So yes.
Are you actually thinking about the game the whole time you're on the bench or on the ice? Because I think I would get bored.
I don't want to admit this, don't show it as a coach, but I forget sometimes the game's going on when I'm on the bench for sure. During the game, I try not to, but sometimes you get caught singing songs that are coming on the Jumbotron. So yes, but don't show anybody that.
Do smelling salts actually help, or are you just getting placebo peer pressured?
I don't usually do them, but Hellebuck makes me do them. So yes, peer pressure for sure. And they really hurt your head and they get you wide awake.
Are there any other apps on the iPad?
I like it when the iPad shows funny pictures of funny faces on the cover, because I think it's hilarious when people post funny pictures on there, and it's pretty funny. There's some pretty good ones sometimes.
Is the iPad password protected, and who would have the password?
The video coach, Maddie, would definitely have the password. I don't think it is password protected, though, but maybe it is. I'm not sure. Maybe I should look at it more.
Sometimes when they're drawing stuff on the whiteboard, do you ever just smile and nod?
As a goalie, you don't have any idea what's drawn on the whiteboard. Trust me, ask Helly or I, we have no idea. And I always say, what are we doing? And they just say, stop the puck.
Do you think equipment guys would get mad if you gave away every single puck during warm-ups? Is it more just like a time limit thing?
I think they would get a little bit mad, but we'd give away a few, but not too many. But they would definitely get a little bit angry, I think.
When there's cameras in the locker room aimed right at you while you're tying your skates or doing up your pads before the game or during an intermission, do you have to try really hard not to laugh?
I just try and act natural, but I laugh really hard at Helly when he's staring the camera down.
And then a goalie-specific question. When they pull you for the extra attacker and you have to skate really fast, do you ever get nervous that you're going to fall?
I get nervous I'm going to fall every time I step on the ice, especially when they do the opening night roster. I am most nervous I am all year for opening night roster skate out, and I'm really nervous I'm going to fall when I skate to the bench for a penalty killer. Yes, because I don't want their team to laugh at me when I have to fall in front of their bench.
That's it. Thanks, Con.
There.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic answers. And I feel, or at least I'm able to relate, I think, a little bit when he said that the fear of falling.
Yeah.
So I often worry about that with guys going out. I think, what if someone trips for it? But when I was at TSN for playoffs, we used to do pregame interviews on the ice just before anthem.
Yes.
And so the only way to get there it was in between the benches. But again, on the ice, the only way to get there for a lot of rinks was from the Zamboni at the far end. So you have to walk from the end all the way to center ice for it in heels.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I could see that you.
Did you shuffle
not
or
a
did you
big
just
deal.
like step?
I shuffled the whole way. So I would hold on to the dashboard and I would just. I used to say if you ever watched Married with Children years ago and Peg Bundy, the way that she kind of shuffled through.
Yeah, right.
Okay, good job. Because it was pure fear that you'd fall and then it would be captured forever, not just in front of the 17,000 fans that were there.
So when I hosted Flames games, I had to step out on the ice in the Saddle Dome to do the opener. And Jamie McLennan, who was backup goaltender for Tamika Kiprasov at that time, he would always skate by and hit me right on the butt with his stick every single time. And this one time they were playing Columbus and he hit me. That distracted me so much. I was like, it's the Flames and I totally forgot who they were playing. And I had to look over my shoulder and the Blue Jackets on TELUS Flames hockey. So it was just because of all that stuff. So I totally remember first off, you're freaking out. You're going to wipe out. Then you're also worried about a certain backup goaltender hitting you with the paddle of his goal stick.
100%.
Yeah.
Another time, I will tell you, because we're getting tight on time, I'll tell you about the time that I got stuck on the bench for the anthem.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So I
couldn't get off.
You were in the shot and everything?
Yes. Yep.
That's amazing.
Standing behind Dave Tippett for the anthem.
Yeah.
Me.
Sarah Orlesky.
That's right.
Hey, look, it's the first female
Part of the Arizona
Oh,
Coyotes coaching staff, none other than Sara Orlesky. That's another story for another time, though. As we do get close to wrapping up with this, we do want to also let people know that you have a new ground control episode that was just released and is with one of the all-time favorites when it comes to Winnipeg Jets 2.0.
Yeah, I think we saw a lot of them. About last weekend, it was, of course, Brian Little celebrating his career here in Winnipeg. So I sat down with Brian. It was a really quick interview. Usually ground control podcasts are going to be around 20 minutes, but Brian was doing so many things that day. So I kept him for 12, but it was a great 12 minutes. So here's a clip from that. And he's talking about, so I'd asked him, and then you'll hear the question. It's just his daughter, of course, didn't see Brian play. She's about 1.5. Here's a story he tells about her trying to figure out all the attention he was getting when he came to Winnipeg.
Her too, because she was only like 1.5 last time I played, so she doesn't remember anything about it being here.
How is she handling you getting all this attention that she probably hasn't seen before?
She's confused. She doesn't know what's going on. I was like taking pictures with a couple fans and stuff outside the hotel last night, and she was like, "Why are you taking pictures with those strangers?" Like, I don't think she quite understands, like, what I did before, but that's why it's kind of special to have her here.
That is, of course, Brian Little, and that the best part of it is watching his daughter go around. Whoops, hold on, let me take that off there. Pushing too many buttons. Best part was watching his daughter.
Yes.
Like just take in everything, and she was just so excited about everything. When they took the photo afterwards with the painting, all the little things that he was given, his daughter just had this big smile on her face the whole time. So that was one of the best parts. So you can see that interview, that podcast on YouTube / X, and of course anywhere else you have your podcasts.
Yeah, it's another great one, and his daughter was the star of the show that day, loving all of the attention, which was great to see. And any chance you have the opportunity to hear from Brian Little, you always want to take it. As we get ready to wrap things up, just a couple quick notes. And this is one of, I think it's 7 games on the schedule today. Take a look at the Central Division standings. Of course, Winnipeg leading the way at 10-1 with 20 points, leading across the NHL, but Minnesota right behind them. What a start they have had as well. 16 points. They are in action this afternoon, so you want to watch that later on. Dallas Stars behind at 14 points.
They'll be here next weekend.
Yes, it's an afternoon game. The first of 2 meetings between the Lightning and the Jets, and they're really close together because the Jets will be down in Florida on November the 14th. So we'll have a lot of Jets Lightning coming up in the next little bit, but this is 4-game homestand. 3 of the teams, Central Division, Utah, Colorado, and Dallas, as you mentioned. And Dallas, the afternoon game is also 90s Day.
Wait till you see what we have in store for 90s Day.
Oh, we might have to bring it out throughout the week as well.
Yeah.
Just fully embrace.
There's a hat giveaway, 5,000 hats, 90s hats.
And we're looking for pictures.
Yeah.
I don't know if you found any.
I found one from late 80s. So
Well,
I'm
that'll
trying to
do.
find out. If you
That'll
round
do.
up, if you round up
We
from
really wanna-
88 to the
That's
90s,
right.
yeah.
We really want to embrace and run into, really want to embrace the 90s. So we'll have a lot of fun with it because that Saturday, the 2 p.m. start, again, reminder about that one because the West final taking place over at Princess Auto Stadium with the Bombers and the Riders. So what an amazing Saturday it's going to be if you are a Winnipeg sports fan.
Can't wait for that, but can't wait for this afternoon's game against the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Mhm.
So many thanks to Dave Randorf, of course, Eric Comry for being himself. She's Sara
We do
Orlesky.
need to have him mic'd up.
Yeah,
more.
I think they did it 3 years ago, but you can never have enough of Eric Comry
You
mic'd up.
absolutely can't.
All right. Well, especially if we mic him up on the bench because he's not paying attention anyways. Maybe we can like have a conversation with him during the game. That's what we need to do.
Oh, that'd
Yeah.
be a good one. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for spending some of your Sunday with us. Enjoy the game this afternoon. Get on down here to Canada Life Center if you have the opportunity. Thanks so much for checking.